Alrighty. Alrighty, here we go. Alright, let's hope I don't die. Find the crime scene. That is what I was supposed to have been doing, but I started doing everything else. Do I remember how to fight? Yes, I do. It's just a simple command. Nice. Boom.
And stay down.
Alrighty. Alright, I was just doing a whole bunch of side stuff. I remember because that's honestly what I was doing. I can't find a rose. I really don't feel like playing a VR game. I really don't feel like doing that right now. Let me get back into doing the mission. Alrighty. Alright, well, he does not care. No, you on my muting? What do you mean muting? Who? Really? Loaded disrespectful. That's your puppy.
Really, guys?
Hold on. get back into it. I'm trying to find a rose, bro. I can't find one. Yes. Nice.
And stay down.
I like to switch up my fighting style. Alright, it's time to get into the main story. Okay, my health is full. An abandoned building near the Sakura River. This must be where Mikoshiba's body was found. But it's locked up. How do they expect people to get in there if it's locked up? The lock looks easy to break, but it's still daytime. There are people around. I should see if there's another way in. Yeah. Okay, so what are we looking for? Another entry point? The rooftop, maybe? Okay, I can't go that way. It's gonna block me.
Hey.
Is it up? Huh? Oh.
What the?
And that window is closed. Maybe it's open window.
Suspicious.
This way? That window's open, but it looks impossible to get up there. Seems like sneaking in from the front is out of question. I should check the side or the back of the building. I'm trying.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty.
What the?
Is this it? Broken fence, huh? I think I can get through it with a little effort. I'll have to head through the rear of the building. Okay, so what we finna do, Yagami? Well, if the front won't work, I just have to improvise. Always gotta improvise. Made my way through it. Now hopefully there's a way in on this side. It is. It's just going to be complicated. Ah, an open window. I can use it to sneak in. I need something to give me a boost if I'm going to climb up there. Let's see if I can find something. Like what? Garbage can?
Hey. What the?
This? Maybe I can use this to give me boost. On a second thought, no. Okay, so that's a no. I found a bullet. I found a well-used rubber band. Great.
Suspicious.
Here is good. I can climb up from this spot. Alright. What's with the climbing then, y'all? Okay, I forgot how to play this apparently. Okay, I had to circle. Okay, I thought it was X. This was how you're done. You can get through there, through these areas by a running start. Wall running. Oh wow. Iron ball, iron. Okay. Forgot how to run apparently. Crap. I failed. Okay, I think I got it now. Come on. Okay. Okay. 4-leaf clover. We can go up this way. We get set. We cannot go up this way. We gotta get back down. This is the item. Oh, okay. Wait, what are you doing? No, you fool. Yagami, look up. Okay, jumping while climbing. While climbing the wall. Okay, I got it. Mysterious fruit. I was gonna say I gotta be fucking kidding. Okay, here we go. Alright. Made it. Nice.
Hello? Anybody here? Coming through. Now, where exactly was the body? There's gotta be some clues that'll give me that.
The biggest clue in the room. It's literally on the floor.
Huh? Are these burn marks?
Investigate the murder scene. I mean,
Hey.
big old pile of blood right here. This black stain has got to be blood. So this is where Mikoshiba's body was. It was.
What the?
Burn marks on the floor, and it looks like there's red powder dust dusted on the surface. Is that it? Got some new info for the case. This area must indicate the body's location. I guess the killers like to have everything lined up. The bed matches up with the photo, so Mikoshiba was alive when he was brought here. Which means this isn't just where his body was dumped. It's where the murder actually happened.
Huh?
Someone's coming. Crap. Ah, not the cops.
Hey.
Oh.
I heard something. Who's there?
Hey, Yagami, run. Yagami!
State your name and purpose.
I'm a detective.
Well...
Get some backup over here.
All you have to say is that you're a
wait a
detective.
second. Can we maybe talk this out?
Put your hands up and turn around.
So you can't say you're a detective.
Who are you and what were you up to? Takayuki Yagami. The Yagami Detective Agency.
Yeah, in Kamurocho.
Were you the guy at Serio yesterday? I could have sworn I saw your face there.
Huh? Maybe.
The name's Watanabe. Kanagawa PD Division 1. Chun, I'm sure.
No, not really. I really don't care for you, detective man. Criminal, whatever you are.
This fella here is Sakurai.
Sup?
So you don't talk
So,
much.
you think barging into a crime scene was a real bright idea?
What? I thought you guys were done here. I figured I could take a look around. What?
You wouldn't happen to be working with Genda Law, would you?
Huh?
You hear on Shirosaki Sensei's business? Saori Shirosaki, right? Grouchy.
Okay, how'd you know?
Well, it started when Mikoshiba's body turned up. Once our investigation kicked off, we found out about that pervert cop in Tokyo. Seems he knew where the body would be. But when we went to go see him, HQ pumped the brakes. They said no interviews on this one. Much to our amusement, we ended up being directed to Shirosaki, Perv's lawyer.
So the cops met with Sari-san to learn about Ihara's incident.
So being that Genda law office is in Kamurocho, and you're a Kamurocho detective working your case, that means either the two of you are connected, or I'm really losing my touch.
Well, you've certainly got my number. Now that you know, how about taking these cuffs off?
Smooth, but the jury's still out on you, pal. First, you got any thoughts on all that?
On anything specific?
The part about HQ locking us out of interviewing Ihara, smart guy. Here we are with a material witness who, it turns out, knew about a corpse rotting away for 2 months. And those Tokyo chuckleheads just shut us out. Balls even for those tight asses.
When he says HQ, I'm assuming some of that's Tokyo PD. Seems like they're stepping on the local police toes. Any crimes that happen in Jincho, still can't pronounce it, fall under Kanagawa PD jurisdiction, not Tokyo, which explains why Watanabe here might be too.
Ihara was Tokyo PD, so wouldn't they want to protect him? They probably want it handled discreetly.
Nah, if only it were that simple. This isn't about protection. They get burnt real bad if they try to bury this shit under the rug. Besides, not only is this cop a nasty creep, he's got ties to a fucking murder. Another prefecture blows the lid on that, the top brass may as well kiss their jobs goodbye. Heads would roll. They've got to wash the shit stains off their laundry to keep their asses clean.
Yeah, I could see how that makes sense.
Anyway, so HQ told us their boys would look into Ihara. What we had to do was hand them our notes on the murder. Can you believe that crap? Like hell we're gonna bend over for them. But look where that's got us. Now nobody's interrogated Ihara.
Are Kanagawa and Tokyo PD really fighting over who gets the credit? Don't tell me they're that petty.
Like you wouldn't believe. Well, the higher-ups play intel hoarding games. Ihara is just sitting pretty. Shit. The cop's supposed to be chasing down the perps. Instead, here I am with my hands tied, bitching to a PI.
So I'm your therapist.
I was gonna take you down to the station with the squeeze on you. But if you're a half-decent detective, maybe we could collaborate.
Oh yeah?
I mean, you came all the way from Kamurocho to sniff around here, right? I highly doubt you found much. But tell me something I don't know, and maybe the cuffs will fall off.
You proposing a deal?
Depends on if what you've got is worth making again.
This is gonna be such a waste of time, but I want some info from these cops myself. Probably best to collaborate with these guys and give them a little more insight. This picture?
Okay. How about this?
What the hell?
Hiro Mikoshiba. Was this taken here? Right before he died?
Where did you get this? What kind of shit you trying to pull?
I could tell you better with the cuffs off.
Craftier than I thought. Fine, let him loose. All right, let me get this straight. Right before you met up with this Seiryo High teacher, a strange woman showed up with this photo.
Yeah. I couldn't get a good look at her. But it seems whatever threat she made worked. Sawa-sensei wouldn't say a thing after that.
Saw was the one who supervised Mikoshiba for his student teaching program.
I know that. So, this woman you're talking about must have had it in with the culprits. You know, they were working in a group.
That's quite a revelation. What makes you so sure about that?
Sakurai, show him the photo of the body. And spare me the protocol lecture. I'm sick of this going nowhere. If Hotshot here's gonna look into Ihara for us, we may as well take advantage of it.
You're the boss, Nabe-san.
Oh, God, that's disgusting.
Miko Shiba was last seen alive 2 months ago, October 7th, 6:30 a.m. He was talking to his mother as he exited their house back in the city. Since there were no other sightings of him, it's likely he was abducted a short ways from his home. This had to be done by vehicle, as common sense would tell us. So there must have been at least 2 suspects, a driver and a handler. If it were me, I'd have put 3 on the job.
So that's why you figured it was a group effort. Sounds logical to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, according to the autopsy report, they found food in the poor guy's stomach.
Coffee.
Based on how digested it was, we can assume he was killed at least an hour after breakfast, putting it around 7:30. And not long after, he was brought here. His throat was slit with a knife. You get all that, hotshot?
So, on the day that Mikoshiba went missing, he was abducted near his home and he was killed right here no earlier than 7:30
What
a.m.
was our friend Ehara doing at that time? The old perv was walking through Ikebukuro's ticket gates around 7:43 a.m. This was stated in court and corroborated by multiple security tapes.
But if that's true, he couldn't possibly have killed Mikoshiba. It's 30 kilometers between here and Ikebukuro.
Yeah, that's the meat of his alibi. Yet somehow he knew Mikoshiba's body would be discovered 2 months after his arrest, despite being in custody the whole time. So there's no doubt he's connected to the killers. Just put the screws to him and squeal. Damn it, HQ! Why the hell are we out here working the site if it's already been picked clean?
All right, Nabe-san. Deep breaths.
Yeah. But do you see why we've got to get someone in to talk to Ehara? Hell, beg Shirosaki-sensei for a visit if you have to. HQ can't say squat about his attorney visiting.
Hell of a cop. We only just met and I'm halfway to becoming his gopher. Then again, I guess I'd do the same thing.
What you said raises some questions of my own, about the crime scene and the body.
Oh yeah? Ask away then.
Now here's a chance to get some pretty facts. I need to ask what evidence the police collected from the scene. Regarding death, cause of death, regarding burn marks, regarding the state of the body, regarding the building owner. The burn marks.
I noticed the burn marks on the floor in the shape of an arrow. What's with that?
Somebody lit flares here. The ones that shoot red smoke. It was only a matter of time before the fire department got called, and they're the ones who stumbled on the body. Pretty obvious the culprit set up a smoke signal to make sure the body got found. He probably had the timing all worked out with Ehara so he could predict the body's discovery for the maximum impact. And that's exactly what he did, just as the judge handed down the sentence.
What would be the point of that, then?
For all I know, he just wanted to blow everyone's minds.
What else? I need to find out the police know. The building owner.
Doesn't this place have a manager? I'm sure it wasn't always like this.
There is a property owner. He's been around Ijincho forever. The building's been deserted for 2 years. Apparently, there was a padlock to keep the homeless out. It was long gone by the time they found the body. Broken by the killers, most likely.
What else can I do?
How narrow is the window for Mikoshiba's estimated time of death?
Based on how digested his breakfast was, he was killed somewhere between 7:30 and noon on the morning of October 7th.
Pretty impressed you can narrow it down like that with a 2-month-old corpse.
Yeah, well, the window gets much bigger if we consider the possibility that the killers forced Mikoshiba to eat. At any point after the kidnapping, they could have made him eat a typical Mikoshiba family breakfast.
It's possible. All they had to do was make him say what he usually eats.
Good. We're on the same page. Now, if we take into account the decomposition of the body, Mikoshiba's estimated time of death actually ranges from 7:30 a.m. on October 7th all the way to the end of that month. So about 3 weeks.
3 weeks? That's a massive gap. Can't we narrow it down further?
The body's just too decomposed to do that. But expand the time frame all you want. Ihara was in custody for the whole thing, so we couldn't have done the deed.
Right. He spent 2 months behind bars. Hate to think a different crime got him such a strong alibi.
In any case, someone else killed Miko Shiba. If we could just get in the same room as him, we'd know who that is.
What was the victim's cause of death? The news called it a massive hemorrhage.
Yup. They slit his throat and let him bleed to death. After tying him to a chair, the killer stood behind him, lifting his chin with his left hand. His right hand slid the knife.
Sounds like you guys have that bit on lockdown, huh?
It's one of the few things we're sure of.
Has the murder weapon been found?
No. There were no weapons at the scene. Real shame. There'd be some decisive evidence.
So when you said it was a knife, was that a guess based on analyzing the wound?
I wouldn't call it a guess. The coroner outright stated that the weapon was a sharp knife-like instrument.
What shape was the body in when it was found?
Full of maggots and decomposing bad. His hands were zip-tied behind the chair, securing him in place. The cause of death was the throat wound, but before that, they really worked him over. Rough way for the guy to go.
Damn.
They even broke all his fingers. On both hands.
That sounds painful.
Fucked up, right? I'm guessing a professional did this. Could be Yakuza, could be Mafia. Take your pick. We've got some guys checking that angle out too, just to make sure there's no stone left unturned.
Well, that's it.
I think I'm starting to get the picture here. That should be it for questions.
Tell me, you detectives out in Kamurocho always this hands-on?
Sorry, what?
I'm saying you guys work quick. We had barely set foot in Seiryu High, and you already had the run of the place. Hell, you even closed in on that Sawa Sensei and got a meeting with her.
I was just lucky to have been there on another case.
Is that right? What? What's wrong?
Somebody's spying on us with binoculars.
No shit?
3 men, 30s probably. The one with binoculars is wearing a black jacket. My number's on my card!
Yagami!
Hey, wait up!
Yay!
Hold up!
Not him screaming, leave me alone.
You won't get away!
Kicking stuff. Kick it!
You won't get away! Which way did he go?
You want this one?
Hold up!
Kick it.
You won't get away! Leave me alone!
Wait, that's going to a complete circle. This is exactly what it's looking like. I literally.
Give it up, all right.
Damn, hotshot. You're quick on your feet. So let's hear why this fool had eyes on us.
He claims he just wanted to see the scene for himself.
It's true. Ask the other two guys with me. They'll be here any minute.
So you were here gawking, is that it? Better than busting in like you own the place.
I thought that was water under the bridge.
So, who are you? Why'd you run?
I ran because I saw a cop jump out a window and charge at me. Are you saying you'd stick around if you saw that?
He thinks you're a cop. Should we get you a badge and a hat?
I'd be honored.
Do you have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Kake-san, age 30.
What do you do for work?
Oh, I'm just a professional pencil pusher. Biotech, planning and management.
Are your other two pals biologists too?
No, one's an investor and the other's a consultant. We all went to high school together.
Says here you have a Tokyo address. What brings you to Yokohama?
Oh, well, I'm organizing a class reunion in Chinatown. So I came to scope out the location in advance.
This ain't the way to Chinatown, pal.
Oh, we thought since we came all the way to Yokohama, we might as well peek at the crime scene.
Pretty morbid idea, isn't it?
I suppose.
What high school did you all attend?
Kurakawa Academy, a private school in Tokyo.
So it's not serial high, man. Are these guys seriously not linked to the crime in any way?
Hey, over here!
We'll need to verify your buddy's identification as well. I suggest you all cooperate. Nabi-san!
Alright, you jokers are free to go. Appreciate you being so civil. Guess that settles it. We're just dumbass rubberneckers. Tough break, huh? After all you went through chasing him down.
I don't mind. I'm almost always swing for the fences.
Yeah, well, your strikeout was pretty amusing. The guy who goes down swinging is alright in my book. Now that that's settled, give my regards to Shirosaki-sensei. We get some dirt on Ihara soon.
Well, that was interesting. I'm starting to piece things together. It's a good timing for chat with Sari-san. But for now, I should head back to Yokohama 99. Then I can give Sari-san a call. Alrighty. Let's do at least two to three side quests. Wait, finish out this chapter. Let me see some of this stuff. Get it out.
Can't stay down.
Talk to my kitty friends. Uh-oh. Hey, you. It's
A
been a
name,
while.
huh?
I called you Shadow.
Who's a good boy?
Yes, Shadow. That's my best friend. Alright, Shadow taken care of. Let's go do this one, get it over with. Hopefully this will go down. Ooh, I love this game. What's that? It's the addiction. I got 9,000 points. Alright, let's get some boost on that health. Yeah, boost on that health. What's this? I mean, why not? It's only 1,200. Might as well. This one's 1,200 too. We got one for Tiger. Got one for Crane. I'm going for the cheaper one. What's some specials that I can do? None right now. Let's just hold on to all the points we have so far. Alright, here we go. Oh, Yagami-san. Are you here to play again? Yeah, I heard there's been some upgrades. Remember how I was saying this game needed a roster of badasses? I do. Did you put some in there?
Nice.
Hell yeah, I did. Thanks to my creative geniuses, business has been booming like crazy. We've got a ton of players. They can't stop talking about which new characters their favorite.
Oh.
Wow, now that you mention it, I do see a lot more players in here. I'm just mentioning this ahead of time. Some of the characters might seem pretty familiar. Familiar how? Well, they're based off people.
Does that mean
Care to explain? So here's the thing. I had some designs to flesh out the characters, but I had to skip the concept art phase. The cost per unit was way too high. We don't really have the budget to design a bunch of dudes from scratch, you know? But then I had an epiphany. Really? Okay. Alright. So you want me to see everybody on the roster? So I need to go get some play passes that I don't have at the moment. Don't have none of those at the current moment. So now I gotta go. I found a potato. I can find potatoes and all this other type of food, but I can't find the one thing I'm looking for. Like, bro, make it make sense. Oh wow. Oh wow. Wrong person. Get up! Ooh.
What a waste.
Well, that was by accident. Alrighty. That was about it. Cause I can't. Oh, I can go talk to my kitty friends again. But I can't really do the other ones because I can't find a rose. Oops, wrong way. Might have to look this up online. Where to find a rose? I forgot all my kitties' names. That's how long it's been since I last played this game. I forgot every single last cat name. They all have special names. Oh, it's Midnight. Hey,
The
you.
name,
It's been a while. Your name is Shadow. I'm sorry. Shadow. Wanna play for a bit? Let me stare at you affectionately. Hello, Shadow. It ain't creepy at all. Alright, cool. Now I just need some food for Shadow. And we can chill. But no, seriously, I really do need to find that shit. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and head over to Yokohama 99. And get that done and over with. But they said some people gonna be talking. I have a few keywords I need to be prepared. I have not prepared at all yet. Actually, let's look at that now. Oh, here we go. Come on, y'all. Get over there. We don't say. That was nothing. Is it you guys talking to me? Alright, got a prize. Got an empty bottle.
I wish you had.
It's nice.
And stay down.
Oh my god. Oh. I didn't know I could grind in this game. Okay. I gotta try that out. Oh, it's right. This bar district is nice. Gotta get a few drinks. Yeah. Oh, just right. What's that, sir? Oh, man, blessed with the rose. The eye of the dragon. Huh? Wait a minute. I have a drone. That was. How am I supposed to get up there and look at it? I'm in an area. Let's try to figure this out. This place sells clothes or something.
いらっしゃいませ。
I like the guard t-shirt. Lucky boxers.
ありがとうございました。
Can I put these on? That's the real question. Can I put these items on? How am I supposed to do this? Okay, let me see something.
What the?
There you go. Also, that's how you go do it. Okay, makes sense. Oh my. Is that an actual UFO? See? I knew we'd see it. How about that? I'm Sawa Senpai. Aliens do exist. Do they really? Can I just be a searchlight? No way. What searchlight could do that? I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Yabiki-kun, aren't you getting a little ahead of yourself? Is that Sawa? After all, the term UFO was invented by the U.S. Air Force to describe any flying object that has to be yet to be identified. It can apply to all sorts of situations. At this point, it's still a huge assumption that we just witnessed aliens activity. It's far more likely to have a reasonable explanation. You're seriously denying what you just saw with your own eyes? How stubborn are you? This is exactly what's wrong with the MRC. Okay, how so?
Hey.
Hey, I'm Sawa. Yagami-san? What are you doing here? Well, I think I saw a post on Chatter about a potential UFO sighting, so I figured I might check it out. Why are you here? I was invited by Yabuki-kun to tag along with the Supernatural Research Club to look for UFOs. The Supernatural Research Club? There's a Supernatural Research Club at Serio. So, you're Yagami-san. I've heard much about you. I'm Akihiro Yabuki, president of the SRC at Serio High. This is Akira Tokioka, the vice president. Good evening. So you're all out here UFO watching, huh? Kind of like a joint case between the MRC and the SRC. That's cute. I can see how supernatural mysteries are pretty similar to detective mysteries. Hey! Yagami-san, what are you saying? Yes, supernatural research may seem very just and similar with the work that we do, but in the end, they're simply totally different. I don't think about totally different. Well, I don't know about totally different. Maybe more like cousins. Okay, I'm sorry. Listen, supernatural events are indeed unexplainable mysteries, but that simply due to the current limitations of human knowledge. In other words, the term is reserved for phenomena that can't be rationally explained by science or logic.
Hold on.
Well, our own mysteries are just more stuff we can't explain with our own current logic yet, right? That's true, but as premises, mysteries are solved with rational thinking rather than pure speculation. This has to be the foundation of the genre for centuries. No matter how complex in the end, any mystery can be reduced to rational, factional statements. Compare this to the supernatural writing speculative tales with no way of verifying their accuracy and join for the impenetrable nature, open-ended questions, and what is replacing research facts. She talks so much. The two genres of writings are like water and oil, the sun and the moon. Not telling Italian food. I don't want to do this anymore.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not really well read enough to know what the last comparison was, but I've got. I mean, Edgar Allan Poe, he was more of a dark type poet. He's actually my girlfriend's favorite fucking writer.
If I have this right.
In fact, what I'm really hearing is that MRC and the SRC are sort of rivals. What? Aren't they? Rivals? That implies that we step in a ring together in the first place. Yes, please don't put us with the likes of the MRC. We're the ones who don't shy away from the appeal of the understandable. Yeah, boo, keep going. It's because there's a truth behind the tale. That's what appeals to mystery lovers. Would a pirate embark on a dangerous voyage without knowing where the hero ever find treasure? I'm a solid survivor. You can't deny that there are unsolved mysteries in this world. I refuse to become some humdrum humdrum fact finder who forgot to cherish the real mysteries of life and the humdrum. Come on, you are so right. Senpai, we got some eyewitness reports at the nearby location. What? We're just got so busy with the sky stack. Let's move. Ready? Okay, dude. They're certainly passionate about whatever it is they're doing. I'm just going to stop by the bookstore and get it. And needless to know, would be a lot more rewarding than trying to track them down. Alright, have a good night. Boy, sure didn't expect to see a UFO while in town. Can't forget about the abduction parts of the rumors though. Might be something serious there. Maybe I keep an eye out to the sky. So, how do we go about this? How do we do this? Right here. So let's head up there really quickly. A beehive. Really. Great galactic beings, I beseech you, come for me, take me away to the furthest reaches of the stars. Senpai, cut it out. What if someone sees you? Yeah, what if someone sees you? It's the SRC, but what the hell is Yabuki doing? I don't know. But we can talk to them and figure it out. So,
hey.
what you guys up to? Greetings. Ah, Yagami-san. Were you led by the wavelengths as well? The what now? I'm capable of picking up certain wavelengths emanated by UFOs. Are you, Miss Woody? Being a sixth sense. The process is quite difficult to comprehend, let alone put into words. My father was also a strong receiver, so I believe this. You know, Serial has a nurse who might be able to help you. Yagami-san, look there, UFO. Where? What? It was just there. Damn it. I was positive that would be there. I have to say, you seem pretty invested in the UFO stuff. And you as well, Yagami-san. Are you also here to watch the stars? Well, I'm really just curious because I've heard UFOs were involved in some sort of abduction happened a few years back. Oh. Did I say something strange? What you heard about the abductions is true. 2 years ago, UFO appeared over Jincho and someone was... Really? Yagami-san, you're a detective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my day job. Do you think you can track someone down who's been abducted by aliens? I have to say I've never done it before. At any rate, would you be willing to hear me out? Sure, yeah. In that case, I'll wait for you at Wetty
Gotcha.
What Day Kitchen. Got it, see me soon. Yabuki knows about someone being abducted. I'll have to follow up. Who knows? The real person, the real reason behind it. But it still sounds like a missing persons case. I mean, yeah, it does sound like a missing persons case, but we already agreed to go, so we might as well just go. And it's right next to the goddamn office anyway. So let's get a move. Wait, these people talk. Hey, you! Work. That's the key word. Still can't find the rose. Still looking for the rose.
Why is this always What a waste.
Alrighty. Let's head on that. Wiretapping? Know who did it? Who knows? Could be a corporate espionage.
Excuse me.
Did you just say corporate espionage and wiretapping? Yes, that's right. Our company is currently in a crisis mode. Turns out confidential information is being leaking out to our
Does that mean?
Did you find any bugs? Yeah, actually, we found one by pure accident. Then we hired a detective to sweep the building, and he finds 5 more. Apparently, what happened to all over Jincho lately. Everyone's talking about it on chat. Some corporate detective, some corrupt detective wants to do all sorts of things. Really now? A corrupted detective in town. Maybe I should look into this cricket competition. What is buzz? We'll check it later. Damn! Yagami. Oh my god, I got hit by a car. Not now, children. I don't feel like fighting. I got too many side missions I have to complete. And you're definitely not on the list. Plus, I have to eat something. I got hit by a car. Got hit by a goddamn car. Should've got the tomato soup.
Starving. Pretty tasty. Thanks.
I see you later. Is there upstairs, a downstairs, any stairs? The upstairs. As always. Hi, little one. Hey, Yabuki. Care to tell me about this abduction? Sure. Please have a seat, Yagami-san.
Hey.
So you told me this abduction happened 2 years ago and the person still is missing? Yes. Eyewitness reports the UFO have increased lately. The exact same time. The exact same thing happened back then as well. Any details you can share? So the eyewitness reports were coming in from a variety of sources, not just supernatural enthusiasts. Even the local media was starting to get attention to the UFOs. At the time, there was one UFO researcher who started gaining prominence covering the local phenomenon. That researcher was my father, Ichiro Yabuki. Oh, really? I've heard of him. He was interviewed a bunch of times on TV, right? Yes, he published books on a variety of supernatural topics: UFOs, UMAs, old parts, lost continents, all sorts of extorted.
Wait a minute.
Are you gonna say, indeed, that night 2 years ago when a giant UFO appeared above Jincho, my father suddenly vanished? I see, so your dad's the one I've heard.
But
Do you really think it was an abduction? Yes, that's what I think. My father has been chasing UFOs for many years. He finally discovered a radio signal the ETs will be able to comprehend and started broadcasting nonstop. Almost sounds like the UFO came to Gensho to respond. A few hours before my father disappeared, he told me this. I finally made first contact. They might come for me. Oh, wow. That's pretty big. My mom and I went to the police, but they never took us seriously. They just tell us to stop wasting
I guess
time.
so.
Yeah, sounds like how that go. But now, eyewitness reports of UFOs have shot back up in a race they've been 2 years ago. I can feel it. Something is happening. But feeling's not enough. Once I definitely, once I have defiant proof UFOs as if the police know, our whole government will have no choice but to finally act on some sort of production. What sort of proof are you looking for? Photographic evidence. Even just more clear, probably unaltered image would be a start. Finally, son, I asked you because I want to hire you for your camera. Could you take photos of a UFO the next time I'm here? Really? That's what you want to hire me for? Yes. It's to find my father. Please create another bogus job. I definitely understand him wanting to find his father, though. Alright, I can do it. Please do a nice big picture of the craft artwork. I'll see you later. Keep watching the skies. Maybe if I check the buzz research of UFO sightings, I have a... okay. Let's check that really quickly. And, let's go handle that. And get up out of here. Alrighty. We got 2 cases that we have to do. First, let's do this one first. Oh, here we go. Alright, let's get a move. Let's finish this one up really quickly. Start onto the wiretapping so we can continue on with the story. At least I want to be halfway into chapter 5. Yagami, let's turn around. I hear it. I hear it. Definitely. Is it in a park? There you go. Whoa, it was right there. Okay, I need this to do. Okay, well. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my God.
Now.
Can we do it again? Really? Okay. Oh, come on. Here we go again. Oh my God. Yeah. This motherfucker stops momentarily. I gotta be somewhere else because he not gonna stop for real. I gotta be in the. He stops there long. Got it. He stops over here in this direction. Got it. Nice. Perfect. Nice.
Hmm?
Oh, you're an SRC, right? Yes. Tokyo. Senpai seems to be.
Oh.
Is there something wrong? Well, there's something I want to tell you about Yabuki Senpai. Actually, about his father. What about him? Well, it's Yabuki Senpai seems to believe he was abducted, but I think there's another reason he's missing. And what would that be? You see, my uncle's a detective. Yabuki Senpai's mother hired him to find out her husband was being unfaithful. She thought her husband was cheating on her? Yes, and it turns out he really was. Senpai parents were about to enter some pretty nasty divorce proceedings with his father. What with all the publishing, royalties, and TV appearance fees, she was planning to clean him out before she was through it. I see. This was the height of UFO commotion here in Jincho. Just days before he disappeared. I'm pretty sure he just ran out with whomever he cheated with, but Yabuki Senpai, he's convinced himself that his dad was
I see.
That's rough. Even worse, I think his father lied to him about making first contact to set up an easy out for when he ran out. So as long as he stayed hidden well enough, people he left behind might always wonder if he was actually lucky. It's pretty out there. But if Yabuki-kun we're talking about, I guess we can chalk that up to the apple not falling from the tree. Right, so what is it that you wanted to see? What happens instead? I want Senpai to face reality at this rate. He might go from UFO enthusiast to full-on whack job. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. But Yagami-san, if you take the picture of the UFO for him, they end up being authentic. Who knows how deep the rabbit hole he'll go to find his father. I definitely understand where you're coming from, but if we want to do something good, shouldn't I keep taking pictures? Huh? Why is that? Well, I'm not one to just, let a mystery go unanswered, especially when someone's well-being is on the line. I don't personally believe I'm getting pictures of UFOs. Common sense even dictates it's highly unlikely that's what these are. But if I keep taking pictures of them, I think I'll be able to debunk the mistake eventually. Once I found clear enough evidence that these UFOs are phony, we might be able to stop Yabuki-kun or snap him out of it. I see. Not only that, I've already accepted his case. I've got a job to do as a detective. He just might,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Alright, here we go again with this goddamn site. Hey, you would come to the school later tonight? Guess I'm looking for the basement. Oh, wow. You think it's really gonna show? I know it will. Wonder what they're up to. What you gonna go do? Ask them, Yagami?
Hey.
Oh.
Yagami-san.
Alrighty.
Oh.
What?
Hmm? Huh? Gotcha.
You won't get away. Hold up.
Whoa.
You won't get away. Hold up. You won't get away.
You went off.
Hold up.
Dang.
You won't get away.
Hmm?
Wait, this is a toy.
Hey!
Yeah. Hey. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm? Hey. Nah.
Ah, shit.
Hmm?
Yo. Yo, what if his daddy actually was like abducted now at this point? Now it has me curious to think that his dad was all honestly fucking abducted, and it's just like, what the fuck? Anyways, let's go ahead and do this one really quickly. Oh, here we go. Let's look into it. Alright, let's go. And we got paid. After this, we're gonna go ahead and continue on with more of the story. I may not talk as much in playing this, so just bear with me. It is a lot of reading, but I will go slow. And before I click over and stuff like that. Just because I read fast doesn't mean everybody else can as well. So, take my time with that. Oh shit, I thought I was gonna get hit by a car again. Oh, don't hit me. Nice.
And stay down.
It's over here in this area. Corporate espionage. Up in, oh, okay.
Enough is enough! Well...
Huh? Hey!
Yagami-shi!
Yep.
The attorney badge.
I owe you one.
Hey. Hmm?
Sure.
Nah. Huh? Huh.
Yep.
A detective.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. Here we go. Oh, it's part of the main story.
Signal's weak. I think I'm facing the wrong way. Not really picking it up.
Yeah, what could it be? Fuck, I got all this shit next to me.
Signal's weak.
Why are they blinking? Huh?
Bingo.
Hmm.
Huh?
Excuse me. Oh.
Hmm.
Yep.
Oh!
Hmm? Huh?
Oh shit. Mm-mm-mm. Can't trust nobody. Hmm.
Excuse me.
$3 million? God damn.
Yep.
In other words... Oh. I see.
Alright, another case has been solved. Alright, let's see what these people have to say though. I feel like they're the same ones over here talking about the same goddamn thing. Alright. Time to head back. Alright, let's head on back. Nice.
What a waste.
Alright, let's get up out of here. Whoa! Press 2 to look 2 up. Yeah, I don't get it at all either. That's number 0. I'm gonna have to come back to that. Wait, do I need food? I guess I can eat something really quickly. Until I learn how to do, you know, be able to eat whatever I want, I'm kind of stuck. So let's have some Blue Mountain coffee.
I'm starting to feel it. Pretty tasty. Thanks.
Alright. I can find more items on the ground. This is definitely a Yakuza feel. Definitely. Seen one of my friends play this. I'll play Yakuza 6. Alright. Now we go in? Never mind. We'll get a phone call. Damn, we can go into shit.
Hello?
Yagami-san, do you have a minute? It's Shirakaki.
Oh, I was just about to call you.
Well, I'll be right back,
I
you
was
guys.
gonna say, I've got some leads on the murder. By the way, you wouldn't happen to know a Detective Watanabe, would you? From Kanagawa PD?
Oh, yes. He came asking me about the harassment case. Apparently he couldn't interview Ehara, so he got us instead.
Want to know why that is? Apparently Tokyo PD suspects Ehara might be linked to the murder in some way. And since they don't want Kanagawa stealing the show, they're blocking their investigators out.
That does make sense. Not in a bureaucratic way.
By the way, when's your next appointment with Ehara?
As soon as we're ready, honestly. Did you want to come along?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. But I'd like to do a bit more research beforehand. I want to know exactly how Ehara's crime played out.
Funny you should say that. Hoshino-kun just told me he's going to reinspect the crime scene tomorrow. He said it'd be best to plot Ehara's movement from Ikebukuro all the way to Shinjuku, where he was caught.
No kidding. Then I ought to go with.
If that's the case, hold on one sec.
Okay.
Yagami-san? It's me, Hoshino. I'm stoked to hear you'll be helping me out tomorrow.
I'm stoked to be there. Oh, and could you bring the statements from Ehara's arrest with you? It'd be a huge help if you could walk me through what happened on site.
You got it. We'll be starting from Ikebukuro Station, so just meet me there tomorrow.
Will do. See you then.
Alright. I'm back. Let's just go ahead and do the mission. Now, where is it? Oh, he said best to take a taxi. Okay. Yo, what's up, Muffin? How you doing?
Okay, see that sign right there? Ihara was leaning on that before the incident. Yep, just like that. He was standing around searching for a victim. Ihara's the man in the cap and sunglasses.
That's him deciding who to attack. Damn, look at it now. Looking at it now, he is pretty suspicious.
So, Ihara was lingering at the platform a while, huh?
Yeah, he walked past the ticket gate at 7:43 a.m. This was confirmed by the security tapes, as well as when he swiped his transit card. After that, he wandered the platform an entire hour ogling women.
He spent that long choosing a target?
Yeah, sick, isn't it?
Then the security camera that caught him would be...
I gotta check Discord. I haven't checked it lately.
That's right.
But most likely if it's on Discord, I most likely have it. Bukuro is pretty famous for its sheer amount of food traffic. In a station like this, the cameras almost never have a blind spot.
Anyhow, at 9:06 a.m., Ihara finally honed in on his would-be victim. Then he boarded her train, which was departing for Shinjuku.
She's the one in the pink cardigan and white skirt?
Yeah, Yui Mamiya, an office worker and mother of a 6-year-old boy. The two of them show up on the train's interior cam as well. According to the victim's statement, Ihara began by rubbing her posterior with the back of his hand. But it didn't stop there. After that, he put his hand up her
So I
skirt.
don't know if it would be considered sick that it took him longer
Sickening.
to choose his
I'm
target.
assuming he targeted someone shy, thinking she wouldn't resist. Makes me angry just thinking about it.
It's
The
sad.
victim
'cause
stated
it's
she
like,
was too scared to
damn.
call for help, meaning she endured this for 6 minutes until the train reached its stop in Shinjuku.
Can you send what you just showed me to my phone?
Sure. Now let's head to Shinjuku Station. Then we can watch as the jerk gets busted. Even if we did defend him in court, an asshole's still an asshole. Looks like we're getting close to Shinjuku.
The train's pretty light right now, but it was packed during the crime, right?
Oh yeah, the car occupancy at that time of day can easily reach 180%.
And Ihara should have been standing roughly where I am.
Is there anything I can clue from looking around?
What the?
The car's pretty empty right now, but when Ihara committed his crime with 808%, meaning that all seats and straps are being used by a passenger. It's the man on the phone. The lady over there. Creepy man in the corner. We just came to that conclusion. Yes, I'm stuck here. Yes, got it. Nope, stuck here. Yo,
Suspicious.
the train is heading to Shinjuku Station from Ikebukuro. There's something I missed.
What the?
Huh? Security camera that records the train's interior or installed to deteriorate train gophers aid. You going to? Oh yeah, you are going to Japan, aren't you? Oh, okay, I'm finished. Cool.
Ihara and Mamiya-san both exited the train and got onto the platform here. But right before that, Mamiya-san suddenly grabbed Ihara's wrist and yanked his hand out from under her skirt. That's when she got a good look at her assailant.
So without a doubt, she saw it was him.
Yes, and there were also traces of her garments on his hand during evidence analysis. Anyway, after being grabbed, Ihara wrenched himself free and took off at a sprint. See, here he gets off the train and bolts across the platform. And Mamiya-san chases after him, asking people around her for help.
Ah, this is what they kept looping on TV.
Yeah. And honestly, with all this evidentiary footage, defending him in court was a lost cause.
Was there any security footage that wasn't aired on TV?
Sure, take a look around you. There's more than just one camera pointed at us. They're practically everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
As for what I was saying earlier, Ihara was finally tackled right in front of those stairs. Oh, right. I have a diagram of the platform to show you.
So Ihara gets off the train here, and then gets apprehended here. How far apart is that?
Roughly 100 meters. Both he and the victim were weaving their way through the crowd. The whole scene was very chaotic. Even after Ihara was caught, the train was stalled 20 minutes until the area was deemed safe.
Hey, you think we could get the positions of all these cameras and where they're pointing penciled in?
Good idea. Let's check each camera's position as we walk over to where Ihara was detained. That's where he got tackled, so if you could let me know whenever you see a camera. I can mock it up on our diagram here.
What the? Suspicious. Hey. What the? Uh-huh.
I don't see no more that. Oh, that's the camera. Really?
Looks like we checked all the nearby cameras. Let's go up a little further now.
What the? Hey. Uh-huh.
Okay, how much more further do I have to go? Okay. I was about to say, goddamn.
Suspicious.
Looks like we
Come
checked
on.
all the nearby cameras. Let's move on.
What the? Hey. Uh-huh. What the?
I'm missing one. That one?
Suspicious.
Alright, that was the last one.
Okay, looks like we got all the cameras. Our diagram is now complete.
The diagram represents the station that all at the time of the roping. Yahara got off the train around 9:12 a.m. on October 7th. From the deboarding area, he ran in the direction of the arrow.
Now we'll pencil in the camera locations and what directions they're pointing.
He was gonna get caught no matter how you see it. That one 360 camera that's closer to the disembarkment point, so the next one over to its right, it's only one on the left side. It's not one on the right side. And that one little camera right there can't really capture it, so he could have honestly swooped and ran up the stairs. Simple. I like this place.
Hey. Suspicious.
Right.
So this was the general situation when Ahara committed his crime. What do you think, Yagami-san? Anything of note?
Do you think Ahara and Mamiya-san were riding the train pretty frequently?
Oh yeah, Mamiya-san commuted by train. She was here every weekday. Same goes for Ahara, actually, but he was off that day. Supposedly he was going to see his wife, even though they're separated.
Did he ever say why he wandered around the platform for an hour?
He said the thought of his wife had him flustered and he couldn't force himself to board the train. He always had an excuse ready for anything you asked him, including the harassment charges. He pled not guilty, but the evidence said otherwise. There wasn't a single argument we could make in court to establish reasonable doubt.
Safe to say he did it. But on the same day, he knew his son's bully would be murdered in Ijincho. Pretty clear it wasn't a spontaneous need to grab some ass.
I agree. It's almost like all the commotion around the harassment might have been planned out. Maybe everything was, even down to getting captured.
Yeah. He really played everyone by turning harassment into an alibi for murder. No matter how much evidence points to him as a killer, he can deny it with complete immunity.
This is getting crazier by the minute.
At the very least, he had something to do with it. Some connection. But I can't imagine he'll talk. Whatever his plan is, it's pretty clear Ahara is committed.
To what? Getting revenge for his son?
I think so.
Who do you think his accomplices could be? Ihara's a veteran cop. Think maybe he knows how to hire an actual assassin? If so, he could have just paid for his revenge, right?
Sure. But assassins cost an arm and a leg. He wasn't rich before all this, was he?
No. He barely scraped up enough to cover his lawsuit against the school.
Thought so.
Hey, it's Shirosaki.
What's up, Sari-san?
I'm scheduling an interview with Ahara tomorrow at the Tokyo Detention Center. We'll take a taxi from Genda's if that all works for you.
Sounds good. But I need to head back to Ijincho for now.
Something you forgot to do?
Yeah. It involves Ahara's motive, which would be without a doubt his son's suicide. So I want to confirm if Mikoshiba really bullied the kid. And the best person to ask happens to be down in Ichincho.
Alright, then I'll let you get to it.
Cool. Then I'll see you tomorrow. And stay down. A name, huh?
Alrighty. I feel like I want to go ahead and talk to the lady now, but I feel like I want to leave it like on a cliffhanger to see what she has to say. The next time when I come back, it's gonna be nothing but story. Nothing but story. Stuff like that. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next stream. And have a good one.